As you may or may not know, my deconstruction, as the kids are calling it nowadays, I still think of it as more of a violent prison break. Anyway, it all began in earnest for me because of a quote I read from Harvard philosopher Robert Nozick in the preface to his book, The Examined Life. I can almost recite it from memory. Quote, "I do not say with Socrates that the unexamined life is not worth living. That is unnecessarily harsh. However, when we guide our lives by our own pondered thoughts, it then is our life that we are living, not someone else's. In this sense, the examined life is lived more fully." End quote. My respect for Nozick led me to this monstrosity, his magnum opus, Philosophical Explanations. I couldn't get through its dense pages in my 20s, but I noodled around in it just enough, discovering an idea he speaks of with some frequency, organic unity, where, quote, "each statement or fact coheres with all the rest. Each is explained by the way it fits with all the rest," end quote. As a Mormon with doubts, this is what I knew my life was lacking. In the early 90s, I was desperately trying to hold on to my faith, even while I also desperately wanted to know the truth. My family was Mormon. My wife's family were uber Mormons. Almost all of my friends were Mormon. So I was trying to hold on, which ultimately led me to feeling like my mind had become bifurcated and lacking that organic unity. My brain was basically at war with itself. For virtually everything in my day-to-day life, I embraced critical thinking, gave into my voracious appetite for knowledge, was open to new information, etc. But when it came to my religion, I recognized that I was using those same tools and values as more of a shield. Instead of abandoning the facts, which failed to cohere with all the rest, I either reasoned them away or twisted them beyond recognition to make them fit. This is what apologists do professionally, and lately we've been seeing them admitting to it, though not necessarily intentionally. In a video on the Capturing Christianity channel, Cameron Bertuzzi makes this little slip-up.
As I was listening to Dr. Ehrman's responses, I just remember thinking, man, this is just not very good. Like, these responses just didn't really strike me. Like, and this wasn't like apologetics Cameron, like trying to just like come up with some reason why Christianity is true.
And there's the bifurcation. Everyday Cameron meet apologetics Cameron, who is like just trying to like come up with like some reason why Christianity is like true. And I get it. The heart wants what it wants, as does the ego. Our species is clearly too important to like not have the entire universe built with like us in mind, right? Those 13.8 billion years were all like leading to us. Is that not like evident?
Like wow! Like wow!
Low Bar Bill, Christian apologist ordinaire William Lane Craig, caused quite the ruckus a while back, saying something very similar in nature.
Far from raising the bar or the epistemic standard that Christianity must meet to be believed, I lower it.
Upon hearing the Christian message, Bill wanted it all to be real so desperately, he thought to himself,
if there is just one chance in a million that this is true, it's worth believing.
This is why every Christian apologetic sounds like special pleading. Christians embrace the historicity of the gospel narratives while rejecting the supernatural claims of the Greco-Roman histories. Bill knows Christianity is true because of the witness of the Holy Spirit, but when Mormons claim the same with their burning bosoms, Bill says Mormonism has defeaters, brushing off the fact that the foundational story of the Exodus is lacking evidential support every bit as damning. When you're lacking that organic unity, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. When your wants come first, nothing needs to be coherent. Oh, and I did finally get through Nozick's tome in my 30s. It took me something like 18 months, as I could only read 2 to 3 pages a day, and many, many, many times over. One day, perhaps when I'm no longer making these videos, I'd like to take a stab at translating his book into English. That's my dream. Once again, I'm me. Thanks for watching.